cannot be bothered because we're on our own time. It is not so. We are employed to work 24 hours and round the clock we are employed to work. The drop-off and the pickup timing, it is from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The drop-off and pickup time, 9 to 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 to 3:30 in the evening.
What is this in
And
regard
that's
to?
for the businesses.
That's for the businesses,
yes.
the junks, the drinks truck, the gas truck. These guys who have to drop off stuff to these businesses, outlets. They want to drop off stuff, bread or what have you. Gone are the days when the truck will pull up, the Ram truck pull up everywhere, the Beer truck pulls up everywhere, the Bryson truck pulls up everywhere. Any time of the day, we are saying no. Also, we have some big yellow box with some diagonal markings.
Right.
Those are called junction box. What happens? At no time you stay on these boxes to block the junction. So if I'm traversing down Wellington Road, that area should be cleared at all times. So the buses and those persons who would use that, because remember that is the only one to get you back to go westward or to go eastward as the case might be. And that area must be cleared at all times. So those persons who traverse up Brand Street will take their right turn or the left turn as the case might be and go where they wish to go. Before I open though, the ferry terminal, very soon, it will not be accessible for private vehicles to park daily. Why? Some major work will be done in that area for the buses. They'll be building a brand new bus terminal for the West Line / East Line buses. So very shortly, it will only accommodate the West Line buses. So where the private vehicles are parked presently, the buses would park back in towards those booths right there, and the free passage will be there for those persons who want to go to the boat to pick up stuff or drop off. So we're trying to make a compromise. You have somebody to pick up, you drive through, pick up, you move. But to park there all day, it will no longer be permitted very, very shortly. I think I believe our callers would want to speak to us. We can hear
there are
from
no
them
calls
this
at the moment, but what are your plans for parking? Because I know since these new traffic lights have been installed, we have seen the removal, I'd say about approximately 100 parking spaces or thereabouts. So is there anything that is going to be done in the interim to accommodate parking?
Purple, what we are looking at the old Bastia High School grounds. I'm going to speak to the authorities, and if they said yes, it is yes. But for me, I believe that is the ideal spot at the present moment. Until they use that for some other purpose. But for the moment, it is there wasted. It is a line waste. I believe our people can use that to park.
All right, we're going to go to the phone lines and say, good morning, caller. You're on Traffic Talk.
Hey, good morning. I have a question which I hope will be answered because it concerns me. If I'm giving somebody a lift, or if somebody is giving me a lift, because in this case somebody has to give me a lift because I don't drive, I'm suffering with a broken wrist, and they're taking me from west to east, and I want to go to the Royal Bank, and we pass the traffic light by the Treasury. Can they pull along the side of the road to put me off for me to go to Royal Bank, or what do I do? Where do I get off?
Caller,
ask the question again. If I'm coming from west to east and I want to go to the Royal Bank, when I pass the traffic light by the Treasury, can they pull off on the side of the road because we don't have any shoulder parking to get off? What do I do? Where do I get off?
caller, that area, you will not be permitted to stop in that area because traffic will be flowing. As a matter of fact, once the traffic allows you to flow or to enter, vehicles are right behind of you or in front of you, waiting to pass you because the light will turn, and if they're in the intersection, once the light changes over to the other lane, then you're obstructing the free flow of traffic. So, caller, you'd have to plan your route, maybe park on Bank Street or some other street, and have somebody wheel you by wheelchair if you cannot walk.
Not being wheeled, but what you're saying, there's no get-off point on the road at all.
Caller, you can get off safely at a safe area where it is safe. I will not tell you to get off on the Bay Road because instead the police tells you. But if it is safe to do that, you do that. I want to also say that this time, if you are obstructing the traffic, the record service will be on the ground. We will tow your vehicle, and we're going to ticket the persons. So you have to pay.
There's no get out. There's no towing of no vehicle. All I'm doing is the person stop in, open the door, I get out, and they continue.
Caller, you were saying you cannot do that at that junction where the
Okay,
traffic
but just
lights
tell
are.
me that. But there's no need for no record. No, I'm not starting.
My friend, I understand.
you.
I understand. Purple, while we wait for caller, Purple, I want to say quickly, where this solid line is in the center of the road, that is what we call a stop bar. You stop behind of that vehicle where the sensors are and wait to turn. So you have to stop behind of that line. No longer you come right at the top of the road or right at the junction where the road meets. You stop way ahead, way below that is, back from the stop line where we are accustomed to. You wait on that solid bar line because the sensors are there that would give you indications when it is your turn to go.
Caller.
Good on.
Welcome, caller.
Good morning, Purple.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to my former co-workers. Good job, well done. Congratulations on the traffic lights. I think everybody's so nervous about today. Just tell them, pray about everything, worry about nothing. All will be well, just follow the rules, okay? Bye, have a nice day.
Bye-bye. Purple, well, let me make a next plug here. We have that center line leads or leading up to the junction or the sensors. No overtaking, no speeding in these areas. It is not a speed zone. And if for any reason, you must ensure it is clear, it is safe before you proceed from your stop, or even the pedestrian, they must ensure it is safe before they walk across the road.
Caller, go straight ahead. You're live on Traffic Talk.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Recently heard you mention the school for parking, and I think that is a very good idea, and I think the government should move on it right now. Do not sell it to any private person. The government needs to make money off of this thing. Get the high school set up. Just use it right now for temporary parking and then build something that is state of the art where upstairs and downstairs and make money. And in the meanwhile, you all really need to get tow trucks. You all need to get boots for the cars because a lot of people can still want to break the rules and the government needs to make money.
Caller, it is I believe that our biggest concern is the parking. And of course, the authorities, they'll listen to us and we'll have a dialogue with them. And of course, we believe that that will be in effect very, very shortly. The only concern we have, though, is security at that venue. And I believe with all the step persons we have, or even we employ 2 of those good persons who are not working, 2 of those gentlemen, then of course they will be gainfully employed at that venue for a very, very long time.
Caller, you're live on Traffic Talk. Go straight ahead.
Okay. Morning.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Inspector Kins,
So,
I have a concern about the roundabout in front of the Sands complex. Because when there's 2 boats in, already that roundabout is always backed up with taxi drivers. If you're going to send all the traffic down West Independence Square Street left and around that roundabout to go, if you need to go westwards on Cairn Street, I think it's going to cause a big traffic jam in front of the Hartsford Avis area.
caller, as I've said, you have to plan your route. I took the Cairn, I came across by the Central Bank and came down by where the Women Training Center, and I traverse along that road. So you can come over by Hosfords, you can come on the road, any other roads for that you choose. So you don't have to take that route all the time, sir. You have choices, sir.
Okay then. And I also want to commend you guys on changing the law. This is Frank Garner here. I remember a couple of years back we had a meeting with our vehicle inspectors, and then I put the point that you all need to get the authority to check certain drivers when they reach a certain age. So I have to commend you for making that step. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Next call.
Caller, you're live
back again. I'm not only concerned about the traffic lights. I'm concerned about the traffic through the area where I live, Fort Thomas Road. It has become now a bus thoroughfare. And I've written several letters to all concerned, including the inspector. And nothing has been done. I mean, children going to school are at risk with the buses coming through here, and the speed that they come through here, you think it's a highway. And as far as I'm concerned, this area is not designated for passenger buses. But nothing has been done, and I don't think any attention would be paid until something fatal has happened. So I'm on radio making it known, so if and when it happens, people will be aware that it was brought to the attention of the police. Thank you.
Purple, I want to thank my friend Derek. But Derek, you can go to the court at Bastille and ask to speak to the clerk and look at the tickets that have been issued in that area. So I don't think you're all correct, sir, but that's much as like anybody can go to the court and inquire and look into the records at the court in Bastille. So
Caller, you're live on Traffic Talk. Go right ahead.
Hello,
Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Fritz, and another caller talk about getting from Bank Street to Liverpool Road. And Mr. Fritz talks about the bank, getting access to the bank. Close enough proximity to where the crux of my matter is, my concern, which is the circus. I have not seen any attempt made towards the taximen in the circus. Some sensitization needs to be done because we have the tendency of wanting to go out in the road to position ourselves to park into a slot. And I foresee that that has to be discontinued because once the traffic is coming from west or east up towards 4th Street, it would retard just the smooth flow. So I think that one lane should be the one that's closest to the clock, should be an express lane, whereas we, the taxi drivers, could just pull off aside. Seems like everything has to be encoded in laws or certain restrictions because we are so accustomed of doing things in our own, complacent ways, the way we so accustomed to do things. And you need to take a look at that area and put some measures in place for the smooth flow. I also realize this is unrelated to the traffic, but also, yes, because persons stepping down from the National Museum, Public Works, kudos to the Public Works Department, the guys, they have done a good job towards Saturday and Sunday. That portion is almost completed. Why I say almost? Because the archway to go under the National Museum, persons can get hit by debris falling down on the roadside. So you notice that's the only portion that is not being covered, like shelter, roof. So you can actually walk, but that portion is left open, and any little debris can fall and hit person. So it is yet to be completed. I hope through observation, they can take a look at it and complete it. Thanks for listening.
Caller, I believe we are about 85% of the work completed. And of course, caller, yes, we would look at all the areas that needs to be adjusted and need amending. And of course, it is a work in progress. And as we go along, we hear from the good people. Because one point we have also purple is the bus stop next to Hosford's, Marshall House. We believe it's time to revisit that bus stop right there and put it further to Caves, further to Ready Fry, as opposed to so close by the crossing. So, caller, it is not all perfect, it is not all rosy and dandy, but we would fix it because that bus stop would have to be shifted a bit. And again, the people complain, they have to walk further away. But, caller, we will do what we have to do and give us some little time and all would be well.
Caller, you're live on Traffic Talk. Go straight ahead. Good morning.
Traffic officers, the guys who are doing a lot of work in the police force. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Purple, and good morning to your listeners home and abroad. Inspector Kane,
sir,
you have two callers who said something, and do not dismiss what they said. I believe if you've been written to, you've been spoken to, it's only common courtesy, very common courtesy to get back to the person. Once you don't do that, something is wrong. Once something is documented, you cannot get out of it. Reply. Talk to the person if you're not intending to reply. That is common courtesy. Now let me get off of what Derek has said to you and go on to what the taximan said concerning the circus. I sit there. I almost live there. And he's absolutely right. You see that junction? You have the clock there. You're coming from Bank Street, going east cross Liverpool Road, vice versa. You're coming from the Bay Road, swinging up. Or if you can swing up, I don't know. If you can turn left, but I have not heard that. But if you can turn left and you're going up there, that is going to be a problem, because you yourself just said the traffic has to flow. While the traffic is flowing, you still have those parking areas there for the taxi, something to come forward, and it has to go forward to get back in, to get into these slots. They have to be sensitized. There's no question about that, or else something can happen. Our problem here with our drivers is something called a common courtesy. We don't like to do it. I have the right to it. I have the right to it and use that. Here's my only criticism, though, of the police. Maybe it's a little short-sightedness, Inspector. I believe long before this, the opening, you should have a dry run. Shut down those areas where the lights are at this moment. Direct the traffic outside Abbas there to the Kim Collins Highway and the F.T. Williams Highway for 2 hours. And you turn those lights on and have a dry run. Maybe you could have had selected vehicles and so on, or just let it run, but shut it down. Shut down the traffic in those areas and had a dry run. I believe a dry run would have been important before this day. Nevertheless, I still want to congratulate you, Inspector Keynes, and your men, because you're hardworking people in the police force. And I said to the government, congratulations as well. Have a nice day.
Yes. Purple, while our friend is there, Purple, I want to say to the taximen, we can fix that area, but it means that we'll have to go further back towards the building. We can have that space for you, and you come in the marked area and you back in, but you have to go further back. So it can be fixed, callers, but it means that the persons who normally park behind of you and person who use that as an access way, that will no longer be there. So we have to give up to get at times.
All right, so let me pose a question just on a matter of clarification to something you would have mentioned earlier, where you were speaking about the enforcement of the no turning, the new no turning on no turn right, no right turns rather. You would have said that the implementation of the turns would take place from today, but the flashing of the lights. Can you re-explain that again for me? Sorry.
The no turn right, where the lights are located, it is in effect as of we speak this morning. But in the evening, as of midnight, when the light is in the flashing mode, the red flashing mode, we are saying we can relax the laws on the right turns and we go back to how we are accustomed to be. Save and except for Lozak Road. You'd only be permitted to travel from east to west throughout. So no changes with that road, where that road is concerned. That will be in effect.
Okay. Thank you. But we have one more caller. We're actually out of time, but we'll take this last caller. Caller, welcome.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Keynes.
Sir.
A case in point. Just want to please draw to your attention on the Frigate Road between the golf course and the roundabout all the way to going towards Shiggity Shack.
Caller, you have to listen to the phone and not the radio. Okay, I think we have lost that caller. We have to wrap up now. So I want you to tell us any last words that we need to know. If you need to mention again where you're no longer permitted to turn right, if you have that information. I know there have been some right turn restrictions where we would have been accustomed to make certain turns. If you could go back over that as we wrap up today's traffic talk.
Yes, Purple. Thank you for that. I will go briefly, quickly through the right turn restrictions. With the traffic, okay, I'll read it. Yeah. With the introduction of the traffic lights, Purple, at the intersection, it has become necessary to restrict the right turns into the following streets to facilitate the smooth flow of the traffic. 1. Victoria Road from Cairn Street, Rosemary Lane from Cairn Street, West Independence Square Street from Cairn Street, Wellington Road from Pond Road, Cairn Street from New Street, Stainford Street from Pond Road, Bay Road from West Square Street, Burt Street from Cairn Street, and Hart Street from Cairn Street. I hope that is understood by the public, and we are grateful for that.
So if you want to make any right turns going down to take you more, say, to the Bay Road, you'd have to either go all the way across and go around the roundabout and come back. Is that correct? You cannot do that?
No, you turn, Purple.
No,
you turn.
Okay, so then I'd have to, if I'm traveling from, let's say I'm in the vicinity of Fort and Victoria, and I'm on Cairn Street,
and you want to go
and I want to make it to the Bay Road somehow, but I'm heading in the direction of Frigate Bay. Do I have to go all the way across to the fire station road? Is that correct?
You can do that.
Yes.
Okay, but is there another option for me to?
You can go towards Hosfords and take that street that runs between the ball field and come all the way down to it.
Then I'll just go to the fire station.
Yes.
Oh, but I can't get to the fire station on Pond Road anymore. You're saying? Because I can't go around the little memorial there, correct?
If you're traveling from west to east, you can make that turn, yes, and go straight onto the fire station, yes.
Right, yes.
You're
okay.
correct.
But as we spent
Okay, well, I will just caution the drivers to take it slow as these changes are in effect, and I guess we are all learning. So, not to be patient, to exercise patience.
Purple, before you go, one quick word. Adlam Street, the traffic would only flow north from south from you. So if you're at Ready Fry, you can only go up that road by Adlam Street, the street where Mr. Tango is to operate his business. You cannot come down from the square, from the doctor's office to come onto the Bay Road. It's a blind spot. The building's right on the corner. We have adopted these landmarks, and they're there for a long time. So we have to make the adjustment to ensure it is safe. Our concern is safety for all concerns.
So you can no longer come down. You can no longer come down West Independence Square Street and make that left there where TDC is, where the fire was with Hosfords. You can no longer go across there and make a right turn anymore down into Adlam Street.
No.
You can only come up from the end of the Bay Road.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you so much for your clarification. Any last words for today, guys?
For me, I want to say thanks to Mr. Cromwell Henry, Mr. Cromwell Williams, Mr. Pemberton, and all the good people, the men on the road, Mr. Liebert, Patrice Liebert, I believe the support, and of course the public. Purple, I can't say, I have to say thank you to you also, Purple, and to all the good people. Mr. Bacchus, all the good guys, thanks to all of you good guys for making today a reality.
All right, I want to say all the best to you and your team and all the good officers and the traffic wardens who will be doing their best to make sure that everything flows smoothly as we implement these traffic lights.
Bye-bye, Purple.
All right, have a wonderful day, guys.
Bye-bye.
And there you had it from the good officers. I know the phone lines are lighting up, but we are out of time for today on today's edition of Traffic Talk. I just want to caution all of you to take your time as these new turns and no turns are implemented. And stick and stay with Win FM 98.9 as we will be the source for all your latest updates as it relates to the traffic lights and much more.